안녕.
안녕!
Annyeong!
Hi classmates, I'm Ariel Joy Buukas and I will be discussing the Korean English. But first, we should know that Korea was divided into two occupational zones, which is North Korea and South Korea. Korea was the last East Asian country coming into direct contact with the Western world during the pre-colonial period prior to 1882. The Korean Empire Court was eager to persecute those who had participated in Western learning and anything connected to the Western world, and was countered with patriotic resistance. This perspective changed around the year 1882 when Korea signed the United States and Korea Treaty of Amity with the United States and United Kingdom. The official English language education was begun in 1883 when the government established the first state English school, which is Dongmunhak. Dongmunhak was founded in order to train translators and interpreters who had to deal with foreigners directly for custom purposes, like for them to communicate easily to other countries if they will be trading products and more. But the school was closed during Japanese colonial rule. English instructors was mainly carried out by missionaries and private schools, though the Royal Academy, founded in 1886, which invited a few American teachers to teach English and Western knowledge to privileged children of aristocratic families. Aristocratic families is a social class normally ranked as the most powerful or rich family. Nevertheless, the chance of direct contact with English was limited to a handful of upper-class men because the majority of the Korean population was never literate in the Korean script, which is Hangul, and therefore could not access the higher school system. Yet it was not until 1905 that national leaders initiate literacy movements primarily with the intent to educate citizens to make them aware of their national identity under the immediate threat from Japan to colonize Korea. During the pre-colonial period, the Korean government now supported the establishment of modern schools by English-speaking missionaries. Between 1910 to 1945, Korea was officially colonized by Japan. During this time, the government stopped the education in Korean language and restricted foreign language teaching. On August 15, 1945, Korea was liberated when English UN troops landed in Korea and the Second War has ended. This was the beginning of the era of fully developed language contact between Korean and English. English language education is a thriving business within both the public and private sector in South Korea today, making it one of the largest English language education industry in the world. Reasons for the boom of English language education in South Korea are mainly found in the economic benefits that can be exercised by English speakers in the current age of global capital. Parents spend a large amount of their income on the education of their children, more than half of which is spent on English education.
Annyeong! My name is Jomari Balista and I am going to discuss the English vocabulary of Koreans. Here, we have two terms to discuss, the loanwords and the Konglish. First, let us define loanword. Loanword is a word wherein its meaning is the same as it is in English. Yup! These Korean words are just English words but just written and pronounced in Hangul. Hangul is the Korean's alphabet containing 24 letters, having 10 vowels and 14 consonants. And to understand more what loanwords are, let's have these examples. The first column contains the English words, while the second column is the Korean pronunciation of these English words. I prefer putting the Korean pronunciation rather than its Hangul translation for us to easily see the difference and understand more what loanwords are. The first word is commonly pronounced as cup, but Koreans pronounce it as cup. Cup, cup. Next word, chocolate, chocolate. Chocolate, chocolate. The third word is usually pronounced as ice cream, but Korean pronounce it as isukurim. Ice cream, isukurim. Next word, juice, juice. Juice, juice. And finally, pizza, 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 pizza. So those are the examples, and I believe you are able to understand more what loanwords are. The only difference is how the English and Korean pronounce and write the word. So we are already done defining loanwords. Now, let's proceed to the definition of Konglish. These are English words wherein its meaning in Korea changes from its meaning in English. Because it's more complicated than loanwords, for non-Koreans, these are harder to understand or learn. And according to my research, there are two types of Konglish. First is the change in meanings of these English words. Second is the combination of English words to make a new word. Let me give you these examples for the first type of Konglish wherein there is a change in meaning. The first word is cider. For English, it means an alcoholic beverage made from fermented juice or apples. But for Konglish, it means a soda drink like Sprite or 7-Up. In English, fighting means to argue either physically or through words. But for Konglish, it means cheer up or go for it. Another example is the word cunning. For English, it means having skill in achieving one's end by evasion. But for Konglish, it means cheating or copying answers. So given this example, we observe that there is a change in meaning of a specific word between English and Konglish. We also have some examples for the second type of Konglish, which is the combination of English words to make a new meaning or a new word. The first word is eye shopping. Eye plus shopping. This doesn't mean that a person is going to shop for eyes, but it's just another word for window shopping. Koreans also use pocketball instead of using billiards. Pocket plus ball. Pocketball. And instead of gym, they use health jang. Instead of motorcycle, they use autobike. Lastly, they are using handphone rather than cell phone. So these are some examples of Konglish, wherein there is a combination of two English words to make a new meaning or a new word. So that's it. And if you want more examples for English vocabulary of Koreans, the group will put some links in the description below.
Let us now discuss about the English pronunciation of Koreans. There are two types of pronunciation Koreans have when speaking in English. Number one, adding vowel sounds to words. They often add an E sounds between the consonant sounds of an English word. And if you're going to ask me why they do this, it's because there are Korean rules in Korean language pronunciation that some sounds must be followed by vowel sounds. That's why when Korean speakers speak in English, they apply these rules in pronouncing an English words. And these are some of the examples. Number one, lunch. They pronounce it as lunch, salad as salad, Starbucks as Starbucks, and McDonald as McDonald. As you can hear, they added the E sounds in pronouncing these words. Number 2, swapping consonant sounds for one another. Since there are some consonants in English that do not exist in Korean language, such as R, F, V, and Z, what they do is they swap the consonant sounds that exist in Korean for that unfamiliar English sounds. Example, they pronounce rice as lice, Wi-Fi as Wi-Fi, Facebook as Facebook, Pizza Hut as Pizza Hut, and lastly, violin as violin. They replace R to L, F to P, V to B, and Z to J. And that's about it. That's how Korean pronounce an English words.
The next topic that I will be discussing is about the Korean English basic grammar. We all know that the English basic grammar structure is subject plus verb plus object. Well, in basic Korean grammar, on the other hand, uses the order subject, object, and verb. For native speakers of language that use the SVO grammar structure, such as English, this may sound confusing and incorrect. For example, 나는 오렌지를 먹었어요. 나는 means I, 오렌지를 means orange, and 먹었어요, ate. In Korean English grammar, it is I orange ate. But we all know that the correct structure, the correct grammar is I ate an orange. Another example, 오빠가 축구를 해요, which means big brother, football to do in Korean. But in English, my big brother plays football. Last example, 나는 친구를 만나요, I friend to meet. But in English, I meet my friend.